We are going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not, because if we don't do it, Russia or China will take over Greenland, and we're not going to have Russia or China as a neighbor.
What we're seeing right now is high anxiety in Europe, because until the intervention into Venezuela, I think many Europeans, many Danes, many Greenlanders thought that the rhetoric about taking Greenland was rhetoric and not more. Now that Trump has gone into Venezuela, grabbed President Maduro, talked about the possibility that Greenland might be next, I think you're seeing the Europeans take this much more seriously. And let's be honest, an attack on Venezuela and an attack on Greenland, very, very different kinds of events, because Greenland is a NATO ally. Greenland is part of Denmark. The United States would be attacking a country to which it has pledged to defend it. And so this really would be, I think, something that at this point is almost difficult to imagine. Well, I think what Trump has in mind is the Arctic, is shipping Chinese ships, Russian ships. This is an important part of the world, and Greenland has minerals. The problem with Trump's argument is that the United States has an agreement with Greenland going back to 1951. You mentioned the base that is there. The United States, via that agreement, could do other kinds of things if it believes that they are militarily necessary, in consultation with Greenland, in consultation with Copenhagen. So the US has the ability, through that agreement, to address its security concerns. Why Trump wants to go beyond that, why he is threatening the integrity of the NATO alliance by talking about the annexation of Greenland, very, very difficult to contemplate and understand. Well, I'm guessing that the Canadians are kind of happy that they are not in the limelight right now. Trump has talked about Colombia, about Cuba, about Greenland, about Iran. He hasn't talked about potential annexation of Canada for a while, so they may be breathing a little bit more easily. That having been said, we are looking at a real change in American foreign policy, in some ways a return to an earlier era in American statecraft, during which the United States was much more focused on the Western Hemisphere. The US tried to annex Canada numerous times in the 19th century, thought about trying to get Greenland in 1867, wanted to control the Panama Canal after it built it in 1904. So in some ways, the US is sort of going back to its strategic roots, and that is something that has gotten everybody in the hemisphere quite on their eggshells. The Greenlanders have said repeatedly, we're not for sale. Denmark has said repeatedly, it's up to the people of Greenland. Greenlanders are now autonomous after being a colony of Denmark for a long time. So I don't think there is an offer out there that is going to get the Greenlanders and or Denmark to say, oh, this is a sweet deal, we're ready to make that deal. And in some respects, I think what's going on here is Trump's unpredictability, Trump's inability to stay the course on any particular issue. And Europe is in a very, very awkward position now because of Ukraine. I think were it not for the fact that the Russians were bombing Ukraine and threatening Europe, Europeans would be more ready, more willing to stand up to Trump. But I think right now, because they know they need the United States for their own security to help defend Ukraine, they're being very careful about how they react to these statements coming out of the White House about Greenland.